Good morning, friend. Today we are going to be drawing Sonic the Hedgehog. So let's get started. Let's start with the shape of his head. I think that's a good place to start. We'll start here just below the nose. So you want to start just to the left of your paper, just over halfway up. We're going to just do a curve down. Now imagine his head is quite a circular shape. So we're going to curve down as if we are drawing the bottom part of a circle. I've gone a bit wobbly already, but it doesn't matter. It's just art. So curve down under his chin and carry on as if you're drawing the bottom part of a circle, round, 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 and then stop. So we just have that very shallow curve. I'm just going to even my line out a little bit by making it a little bit thicker. There we go. Okay, so now let's get his nose in. So just at the top of that line, we're going to draw an oval kind of squashed circle shape for Sonic's nose. Round, round, round up and meet your starting point, and that should go just over that original line that you drew. I've gone a little bit over down here. It does not matter. Won't even be that noticeable at the end. So just from the top of his nose, we're going to draw this shape that goes around the outside of his mouth. So from the top right edge of his nose, draw a line that goes out and then curves down slightly, curves round up again to go round his smile, round the edge, down the bottom, and we meet up with that bottom line of his chin. And again, you know, feel free to go over your lines, make them a bit thicker, straighten them out. There we go. Let's give him his cute little smile in there. So just within that line, we just do another little curve, just there. And then from around the middle of that, let's do a little smile going down towards the middle. And I will just try and do gently taper that line a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. Now, from the top of his nose, we're going to do this side. So remember how we said the bottom of his face is like a semicircle, like the bottom of a circle. Imagine you're following that line behind his nose, and then where it will come out from the top of his nose, carry on with that circle. Go up, 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 but then when we reach the point just above his eye, just here, we're going to bring it down again, down, 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 and stop. And then from that same point that we just started just above his nose, we're going to do another line, but this one coming in slightly for his eye shape. So going up, but in slightly. Stop before you get to the top, curve it round, down. Then we're going to curve it up again. Keep going up, 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 all the way around the top for his other eye. Bring it round and then down again. So we've just made a little bit like a loopy M shape. So we meet up with that mouth point again at the bottom. And then we draw this other line that goes over the top of his eye to give him kind of almost an eyebrow shape. So just where the other line finished, just opposite that, we'll start a new line, curve it up, following the shape of the eye that you just drew, down and stop about halfway down. Perfect. Now inside, we are going to give him these two pupils, two black pupils. So just two semicircle shapes. The first one just over here. So it's kind of hidden behind the ridge of his eyes because of the angle his face is at. And the second one over here near this side. So an upright oval shape. Feel free to colour those in black if you like. I'm going to do that later. Now carrying on with his head, where we followed that curve round of his head, just where it comes out from above his eyebrow shape, we're going to carry on with that circular shape going around the top, and it's going to come into his first spike over here. So all the way around the top and then stop when we get to the end. I'm going to curl it round very, very slightly so we don't have too pointy a spike, and then from just down here I'm going to come up, curve round and meet it to give him that lovely spike shape. And then the second spike comes from just below that line, curves backwards down, down, down. Hold your paper tight. Sometimes I move my paper while I'm doing it. Stop at the bottom there and curve it round and just come back in towards the eye a bit and then stop because we're going to have his hand there. Now let's give him some ears so that his whole head is complete. So starting just coming out from the edge of that eyebrow, this ear is partially hidden behind his head. So let's draw a curved line going up and then give it a soft point on the end, curve it back in towards the head and meet the line of the head. There we go, he has one ear. Now this other ear is a slightly different angle. So from just above this eyebrow, let's curve it up in this direction. And again, give it a soft curve, curve it back down to make almost a little pointy triangle with a soft corner. And within that, we're actually going to draw a little triangle for the inside of his ear and give it really soft corners to give that inner ear. Beautiful. Now, before we move on to his arms and hands, which are a bit complicated, we're going to give him this body shape, which again is really just another circle. You can see here his body's one big circle. So we're going to come from just under his chin, slightly to the left of centre, and we're going to draw a circle, but much smaller than the circle we did for his head. Follow it round, follow it round, follow it round, and stop just here because we want to have a line of his leg coming out in front. So we'll need to go behind that. So let's leave a little gap for his leg and then carry on that circle up, up, up a bit and then stop because we'll be putting his arm there. And then coming from the top, the other side of his head, just a small line coming down. There we go. So that's gives his circular body there, which is just behind his arm and leg, which is sticking out on this side. So just below that line you did, come in slightly, we're going to draw a curve coming round past that line and down for his shoulder. And just below that point, another line coming down for his arm, passing by the line of his body and curving out slightly for his elbow. And then from that point, we're going to come up, up, up slightly at an angle for his forearm. There we go. Let me just neaten my line up a little bit. There we go. And then just here, we draw another line which should be at the same angle as the bottom of his forearm. So that's for the top of his forearm. Now the hands are quite complicated, the position he has them in. So let's take this a stage at a time. We'll draw the bottom of his glove first. So just above where his shoulder is, have a curve coming down. It's going to go past all three lines you just drew and curve up again. So that's this bulky part of his glove at the bottom that goes around his wrist. And then another curve, which is the meaty bit of his hand, coming from just above that, curve down, 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 round past the bit you just did and up, and this goes into his little finger. So then you carry on the curve going round, round, round and curl it in. Brilliant. Now from the top of that we draw his next finger, which really is just a big curve because he's got his hands clenched like that, and that comes in to meet the first finger we did. Again, we do another finger just in exactly the same way, curl it round, and it comes in to meet the line of the last finger we did. And then from the bottom of that over here, which should go past the line of his hand and past the line of his head, we draw a small almost circle and coming back to that finger, and that is where his thumb is tucked in there. Now, if I'm going too fast for you, remember you can always pause the video to catch up. Now the last finger he has sticking up, so we don't curl that one in. We have that coming from the top of the thumb, up, 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 curl it round past that line of his spike that you did, and then bring it back down to meet the other finger. And there we have one of his hands. Now we can get those other two spikes in behind that. So there's a spike coming out from just behind that hand, so curl it down. Give it that soft point and curl it back up again to meet that sticking up finger. And then the last spike, I'll just close my gap there. The last spike can come out from just below his wrist, down, 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 give it that curved point and curl it back in towards the side of his body. Whew, we're going fast today. I hope you're keeping up. Right, now we're going to draw this circle, which is on Sonic's tummy. So this side of the circle will be the same as the side of his body. So we have a line coming up from the side and then just meeting up with the chin. I'm going to make my chin line a bit thicker where I went over the edge there. There we go. And then it hides my little mistakes. Give that a thicker line all the way along the bottom there. Brilliant. Now that circle carries on. So imagine you're carrying on with this circle. Down his tummy, coming out from under his chin, down his tummy, down, down, down. And then it's going to meet up with that side of his tummy. Oh, my circle ended up a bit squished over here, but that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect. So I'll just make that line a little bit thicker to try and even my circle out a little bit. There we go. Now we're going to draw in this other hand, which is kind of arm and hand, which is kind of hidden behind his body. So coming out from behind his tummy, we draw a curved line, which is his arm. And just below that, another curved line. So now he has an arm. And like we did on the other side, he has this bulky glove part coming out around his wrist. So we'll start about just over halfway down that line, draw a curve going round. And this time it's going to curve all the way round and back up towards his body. And then we just give it a little curved line around his wrist, and that gives the illusion that his wrist is inside that glove. Now coming out from the side of that, we'll curve down for his hand, and that will go into his first bent finger, and then we stop there. Let's draw in this thumb. So starting around the middle of his hand, a little line down, and then curve around and past the line you just drew, stop and curl it up a bit. Wonderful. Now from behind the first finger we drew, we will just draw another bent finger round, 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 and that can meet up with the thumb. And from just around halfway up that, another one. Oh, there we go. Curl it in and meet up with that point of the thumb again. Now let's draw this other line of his hand coming from the bottom of his glove, coming down to meet that finger that you just drew. And then we have one finger left to do, his little finger, which you can just about see curled behind the end there. There we go. How cool do those hands look? Now we are getting somewhere. So now we just got his legs and his feet to do. So first we'll do this leg that's poking out from behind his body. So from just about the bottom, slightly to the left, draw one slightly curved line coming down, and then another one, follow the same shape, come down and just stop where we're going to do his boot. So his boot shape, again, we have this illusion that his boots are a lot bigger than his legs. So we start over here, curve round and draw a line that goes across those two lines you just did for his leg. Across, 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 and then curve back in, but don't meet the line of the leg. Now, from just above that first line you did, but this time coming out from his leg, we draw the back of his boot. So a little curve round, down, and stop. And the same on the other side. Coming out from the other side of his leg, draw round, down, and then stop. Now, coming out from that line, we're going to have another line coming down, curl it round, up, and it goes behind that line. So there we have this kind of folded material effect. In fact, where these two lines that we drew that stopped, in the middle of those, we can do a little line, and it just gives that lovely effect of there being this fold in the top of his boots. Now we're going to draw the shape of his foot. So coming from just under the part we just drew, we're going to draw a curved line for his foot coming down, round for his toes, and bring it back towards the heel, and then just curve it up and meet up with that other side of his boot. There we go. Now just the little details on his shoe. He has a little circle near his toes there, and then two lines to just give him this band around his foot on his boot there. Awesome. One more leg to do. So this time the leg is coming from in front of his body, so giving that effect of the angle he's standing at. So we will draw a line coming from just within his tummy where we left that gap, and this time at a bit more of an angle where he's sticking his leg out there. At the top of that line, draw a small curve going around for the top of his leg. And then we draw the other side of his leg, just a straight line again coming down the same angle as that first line. And that's closed that gap of his body for us nicely. Now, the same way we did on the other side, but just a slightly different angle, we're going to draw a little line that's going to curl round both of those lines for his leg, curl round, round, round and stop. And then from behind his leg, we draw the line of his boot coming out. This time it can go down, curve back and go into the bottom part, curve all the way around, up and stop. And then opposite that, coming out from the other side of his leg, we have that other back of the boot, curl it round, round, round and just go past that line you just did and then stop. And again, we can just do a little line here that gives the effect of this folded in the boot. Again, now we just have the shape of his foot to draw, so let's go start from the heel this time, curl it round for the heel, along for the bottom of the foot, up over the toes and curl it back in to finish off that boot. And then let's just do those bits of detail on the shoe, the little circle and the two lines. And there we have Sonic the Hedgehog. I hope you got on really well with this one, guys, and I would love to see your drawings. Please do send them to me and Eli at the email, which I will put in the description below, and we will give you a shout out on the channel. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed drawing Sonic.